We're going to kickstart this warm-up with articulated bridging. Tuck the tailbone in and under and lift your hips up off the mat. Again, tuck and lift. Press all four corners of both feet into the ground to support you. Squeeze your glutes at the top and unwind one vertebrae at a time as you lower. Lift the arms up above your head. Reach long towards the back wall. Bring the arms down and forward. As your palms come down towards the floor, keep them hovering about an inch off the ground. Lift the hips back up, arms reach, lower and hover, and articulate down. Tuck the tailbone and lift. Arms reach above the head, biceps by your ears. Hover and lower the hips back down. We're gonna add on in a bit here. Lift the arms straight up to the ceiling and pulse for 7, 6, 5, 4. Squeeze those glutes. 3. Keep those ribs closed. And lower and hover those arms down. Press your palms into the mat. Lift your right knee to tabletop and switch left knee to tabletop. So just some marching here. You want to keep your pelvis as quiet as possible. You don't want to be shaking or rattling around too much. This is all about stabilization, all about strengthening your core as well as your glutes and your hamstrings, kind of warming up these legs here. Adding on, right knee to tabletop, lift it straight up to the ceiling, flex down, hover, bend the knee in and lift back up with a pointed foot. Flex and lower, point, bend, and lift. So it's a beautiful little developpe here. Keep the hips lifted as high as you possibly can without letting your ribs poke out too much, and then switch sides. Bend the left knee to tabletop, straight up to the ceiling, flex and lower down, developpe in with a pointed foot and a straight leg at the top. Use your palms on the ground to help you stabilize here. And lower the foot, toe ball, heel down, hips lift, and then you articulate down one vertebrae at a time. Adding on, come back up into that bridge, bring the right knee to tabletop, and then pulse the hips up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. On 1, we're gonna extend that right leg long, straight up to the ceiling, lower it down and hover, and then kick it up. Straight leg, reaching really, really long, thinking tall and long and beautiful, and then switch sides. Bring the left knee to tabletop and pulse up and up and up and up. Really create a sense of power and stability with that foot that's still on the ground. Straighten the leg, lower and hover and kick. Lower and hover and kick. Again, we're thinking long. That left toe is reaching far. For me, that was towards the mirror. And then we place the foot back down and just laterally swing the hips side to side. Right to left, right to left, right to left. Get a nice little dancey dance in there. And then we're adding in some clams. So the knees open up and close, open up and close. You can always intensify this exercise with a band on the upper thighs. Moving into rolling like a ball. Bring your knees into your chest. Hold onto your shins. You're gonna tight, roll yourself in, keep a curve in your spine and roll back. Try not to slam your back into the mat. You really wanna keep a beautiful curve and then come to a balance on your sit bones. Prepping for our 100 series, lift your arms by your ears and then curl up into a beautiful ab curl. Pump the arms down, 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 down. Breathe in through your nose for 2, 3, 4, 5, and out through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, as you keep the arms pumping. We're gonna bring the right knee into tabletop and then the left knee into tabletop and then keep the pumping and the breath going. My belly button is really sandwiched towards my spine and my spine is not compromised, it's not arching. My head and shoulders are off the mat and I'm really keeping a beautiful lift in that chest. Extend the legs and then keep the pump going. Now, your legs might go lower than mine. As long as your spine is neutral to the ground, you're in a great position here. Find your perfect 100. Open, close the legs, bend the knees in, bend the elbows, press the arms out and extend the legs. Open, close, bend the knees, elbows, extend the arms and the legs. Now, this is just a little bit of coordination just to kind of get us moving and adding on to our 100 position, adding on to our ab curl here. And now switch the legs. My legs are straight, they're reaching, and my feet are just switching one on top of the other. From here, bring the knees in, lay the legs down, place your hands on your hip bones, and then lift the right leg straight to the ceiling as the left is extended on the floor. You're gonna circle the leg, cross the body first, big leg circles, right goes around and up. Cross the body, circle it around and up. Try to keep that leg really nice and long and beautiful. I'm keeping my hands on my hip bones in order to make sure that my pelvis is not shaking around. Then switch reverse to the opposite direction. Open it up, straddle it to the side, cross the body, and lift straight up to the ceiling. And again, I'm keeping both glutes on the ground, and then I switch sides. I bring the left leg up, cross the body first, keep both legs as straight as I possibly can, and circle. This is really testing our stability. It's testing a bit of our flexibility and our core control. Keep this going with nice, beautiful straight legs, as straight as you can go. If your circle is not as wide as mine, amazing. And if it is wider, also amazing. Just keep control and your breath going. And bring that leg down. For my double leg circles, I'm gonna do a little research. So starting with my hands on my hip bones, I'm gonna figure out exactly how far I can straddle and lower my legs without compromising the neutrality of my spine. So you'll see that sometimes I go a little lower, sometimes I go a little higher, just trying to maintain that neutral spine and core control, opening into that straddle, bringing the legs together, and then lifting straight back up to the ceiling. Then I place my palms down now that I've found that motion. Lower the legs, straddle and lift, lower the legs, straddle and lift. So with this support, I'm able to really make sure that my spine stays neutral, belly button glued to the mat. And I'm getting the full benefit of this exercise, having done that research first. 2 more of these, and then I prep for backstroke. Bring the knees into tabletop, place your palms above your forehead, and lift up into an ab curl. Extend both the legs and the arms, open about the width distance of the mat, circle and lift higher. Bring the palms back into your forehead, bend the knees, extend, open, and circle and lift higher in that chest. Bend, extend, circle, and lift. This one is tough, usually on the reformer, on a long box, but even without the props and the machines, this one can be really tough. Again, belly button to spine, finding that perfect 100 position. Head and shoulders stay lifted off the mat. Bring the palms down by your sides. Extend the legs straight up to the ceiling and then scissor. Right leg lowers, left leg lowers, and switch. Switch, switch. Try to keep these legs as long and tall as possible. Reaching. And the palms are just hovering. We're gonna kind of get into our series of 5 here. Hold on to the calf of your right leg. Pulse it in towards you and switch. Pulse, and switch. Pulse, and switch. Our single straight leg stretch before we go into just single leg stretch, which is where we will bring our right knee bent in towards us and then switch. Bend the right, bend the left, bend the right, and extend the opposite leg. Pick up the tempo just a bit here. Again, keep the head and shoulders off the mat. Lift it in the chest before we transition to crisscross. Place both hands behind your head, lift up into an ab curl, bend the right knee into tabletop, and take your left elbow towards that right knee. Twist from the center of the body, extend the left leg long, and then switch and switch. You really want to oblique twist as much as you can from each side without, again, compromising too much going on in the hips, and then lower and lift that extended leg. Stay in the oblique twist. Don't let your torso open up to center, and then switch sides, lower and lift that extended leg. Keep the twist, hold tight, and bend both knees in towards the chest. Stay lifted in this ab curl. Extend both the arms and the legs. As you bend the knees in, circle the arms towards the ankles for double leg stretch. We're just gonna pump it out for our very last exercise before we squeeze in tight like a ball and then stretch it out. Thank you for joining. Stay tuned for part 2.